Uranus Happens Show. Today is Sunday. It's 9:30 a.m. on. So welcome to the show. Just want to say good morning to everybody. I'm Ernesto. I'm a Uranian astrologer. I'll be here with you to prove out the astrology with some live demonstrations from your calls. It's always great to have you guys to take those questions. And Veretta, I believe you're on the line here with me. Are you? Is that true?
I am. I am
Great.
here.
Yep. And so we're gonna get ready to get off and do this here in just a moment. Let me get our make sure our YouTube stream is set up for anybody who's watching over there on YouTube. Remember that to just go to call us directly here on the show. We don't have anybody that's paying attention to that particular channel. And that number is going to be 563-999-3070. That's how you're going to get in touch with us here. And then we can get this all taken care of here for you. So, just one last thing while I get this set up. Veretta, how was your week? How have you been doing amongst all of this chaos and turmoil out in the world?
Well, I unfortunately do very well when people are upset or needing insight on, and I'm not saying like I'm, taking it for granted or it's appalling, but I get calls when people just don't know what's going on and they have to have some clarity. So I've been very busy, and that means I've been very blessed. But I do know for certain that there are a lot of changes coming. And I tell that to people every day that change is happening and it is inevitable that it's going to affect a lot of people. And you just kind of have to hang on to see what direction it's going to take you any given day because it'll be different for everybody. So what I tell folks is don't look at the news. Don't pay attention to other people that are melting down around you. Go with what you're feeling. Go with what you know to be true for you. Yes, things are going to change, but it isn't going to affect everybody negatively. And that even that's a matter of perspective. My week's been pretty busy, Ernesto.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting that you mentioned is that when everything is kind of falling apart, you seem to be very busy. And the same is true for us here on the show that, we get a lot more calls when everything is up in turmoil. Well, very simply, Uranian astrology and, good psychics, will say, for the lack of a better term, that we're controlled by Hades. And that's why Hades, which is, death, gloom, doom, and destruction, all of those really difficult words, those two, those energies are the same. So when people are falling apart, they come to us, and this is sort of like our karma sink to where we just need to redirect this energy that's normally very challenging for us. We're personally dealing with issues, having to deal with poverty and other things just kind of falling apart in a general sense. We have to redirect that energy as practitioners, which is one of the reasons why we're doing the show here, is because this allows us to, use our gifts to help you guys when you're going through a relatively difficult issue. And then, we can also work out some of our own stuff because, Veretta, I think you and I can both agree that when we are left to our own devices, and we are the ones that are really in charge, that things don't really seem to go as great as what we think. It's more like an ego trip more than anything else.
Absolutely, I so agree. You say, well, just plan it, or you have to get a vision, or you need to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I can do all that. But if it isn't in the cards, so to speak, it's not going to happen. So I don't get steadfast in the way I think things have to go. And I do, encourage people to be a lot less demonstrative in the emotions department when they're really not in the thick or the deep of it, because that is definitely going to waste time and suck your energy dry when you're worried or anxious or, just having fits about how, well, I did everything right. It should have went that way. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. And, we have to be the ones that help them, like you said, Ernesto, direct that energy into a creative, appropriate, positive way. And when people do, when they start to listen to that, then they see, well, no, that maybe wasn't right the way I wanted it or the way I thought it was going to come out with plans, but it was okay. And that's what you got to focus on. You'll get the okay. You just have to listen. You have to be quiet and settle down and, give spirit a chance to tell you.
And that's why we're here, is because we are keepers of secrets. We can connect into those to those ethers and to that energy to be able to relay those messages to you. So, with that having been said, we're going to get off to our phone lines here tonight. We're going to get to caller from area code 614. And by the way, it's not tonight. I know it's the morning. It's just we're normally an evening show, and I'm not a morning person. So, I mean to say morning, but that's just not what comes out of my mouth. So, caller from 614. Hi, you're on the Uranus Happens Show. May I have your name and date of birth? Hello?
Hello. Is anybody out
Hello?
there?
Hello, are you there?
Hello? Yeah, sorry, I had you on mute accidentally. My name is Filson, and my birthday is May 1294.
You said that was Stilson?
Filson, yeah. Philip, like Philip in the sun.
Oh,
Filson.
okay. All right, got it. Okay, and that was 6/12/94.
5/12/94.
5/12. All right, and at what time were you born?
10:24 a.m.
Where were you born?
San Jose, California.
All right, very good. And now, Filson, would you like a general reading today, or do you have a question about an issue?
I would like you to tell me, like, if you could kind of focus on the love area, because that's what I'm having issues with right now, to be honest. If you
All right,
could tell
sure.
me, like, how, and give me any tips, yeah.
Definitely, we'll get into that here for you. Veretta, what do you have? What do you have for Filson here?
All right, Filson. I want you to take a breath and think of the bottom of your feet as you exhale. Get a little bit grounded right now and centered on where you're at. So I can get to the energy. All right, let's see what's coming up for you. Okay, so even though everything is so very subtle, I pick up a lot of undercurrent that would have tone of anxiety. But what you're seeing at face value isn't really going to change. The feeling is that there are things in motion, but it's not something you can see quite yet. And I also feel like this is a consideration of whatever's going to change that you have no control over. It's like you're going to be presented with it, or it's going to happen around you, and you're going to have to respond in that way. So you don't really have a lot of love life right now. Other than, let me just rephrase that. You're not going to have a lot more or a lot different love life right now than you have right now. And there's probably in lies your trouble. But is it going to change? Yes. Indefinitely, it's going to change. Most definitely it's going to change. I just can't tell you when. And I can't give you a sign as to what the catalyst is going to be. So let's look at Ernesto and see if he can bring something up.
Sure, yeah. So I'm taking a look at a couple of things here. Now, Filson, did you have a breakup recently?
Yes.
You did. Okay, all right. And so was the breakup that you went through, was this, would you say, difficult or troublesome to get over?
Extremely.
Okay, and not to, to be cliche, because obviously breakups are difficult for everybody. We'll say, but like you're just you're really kind of wanting to get back into the swing of things again, because you have one of those charts of people that when it comes to your relationships, you like your relationships, regardless of whether or not that's romantic, even if that's just to have a friend or even somebody to just talk to. Like these are fixtures in your life that you really sort of need. And when you don't have that security of having another person around you, then that brings a lot of emotional distress and we'll just say turmoil. And that makes you feel not great about yourself. Now, what I will say here pretty soon here coming up is, like the one that you're really looking for, that's way down the line. That's like not a that's a totally different conversation. I can tell that that's going to be coming, but that's going to be like many years away, something that we don't even really want to think about. It's such a distant future. I do feel that somebody is coming into your neck of the woods here pretty soon here. um and and that, but that's not, but don't really read into that. Don't really think that that's going to be like, I'm going to go out with this person for the next few years or for this fixed period of time. This is just somebody that you're going to have to enjoy for the sake of having those interpersonal relationships back in your life again, the ones that you haven't really been able to take advantage of because they everybody's just going through too much of their own crap. You're going to have that energy coming back to you, so that way you can at least have that distraction to not have to deal with, oh well, I'm really single and this is kind of crappy, and at least you're going to have somebody to go out with or somebody to talk to. That is coming up here pretty soon. That'll be by the end of the year that you make a new friend here. And those are sort of the standouts. If you would like, remember to um join our spirit circle here, and we can get you signed up for our event. And if you have that, want to know that specific question of when are you going to when are you going to be uh with that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, we can definitely take a look into that one for you. And you can remember, you can always enter the drawing by just leaving us a review on the website eastrologer.net. And your feedback does get you into our raffle for a free spirit circle ticket.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now, does that sort of answer it here for you, or do you have another question, about that? I'm sorry.
That
Was what part of that was unclear? Like, because I think that's pretty good, for what you want, what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, there was nothing that was unclear about
Okay,
that.
great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But the relationship that I just ended, it was definitely a good decision for me to end it. Do you see that there?
Yes, absolutely. Like there was there was some toxicity there. Like that relationship that you were in, that was emotional cancer. And so you kind of needed to make that go away. It just wasn't healthy for you. That you were forcing yourself to make a square peg fit into a round hole, and that never needed to happen to begin with.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of the main takeaway here, is that the relationship may have ended, but like it's just because you and your experience with human relationships that you needed to kind of add to your checklist. Okay, so these are all of the qualities that I do not want in a partner. Like I've been single my whole life, so I know, I understand that my partner comes a little bit later on, as in my journey, and that's okay. So me watching all of my friends and coworkers around me who are falling in these and doing terribly in these crumbling relationships, and everybody's not happy. I'm just kind of making these mental notes. Okay, so I don't want ABC traits because this is all toxic and unhealthy for me. So I think that's kind of what you got a dose of, is this experience of, so let me focus on the things that really do matter. Like for example, like if perhaps having a partner that smoked weed was a requirement for you, that may not be so. Like you might think to yourself, that could be very problematic, that may lead to addiction and other things. How about let's just simplify this and pare it down and say something like, this person knows how to relax and have a good time. Like let's not be so specific to add like something like an addiction or some other type of recreational behavior that could get out of hand. So that's the refinement lesson that you went through in this relationship, Philson. That's what this was all about.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it was great to have you on the show. Don't forget to go out to my website, eastrologer.net, and leave us a review. That does get you into the raffle for the free Spirit Circle ticket, and that'll be on the 22nd when we do the drawing on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for calling in. Take care, and until next time, be sure to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time. Okay, all right, and we are going to get to our next caller here. We are going to take one of our subscribers. Amala is here on the line from area code 860. Hey, are you on the line with us?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
All right. Now, you were on our show recently. Now, did you have a question for us today, or do you just want like a general check-in and like a blessing
I
type thing?
do. I actually do have a question.
All right. Go ahead.
So uh the last time I talked to you, I said I was going to Florida, and it was a great, it was kind of like an eat pray love type of retreat for myself. It was a great welcoming gift for me. And I was told by Beretta that I would meet somebody, and it's not like I know, and I was more of a trip for surrendering, and that's exactly what I did. I really needed to just let go the last year. It was very heavy, and so I did, and I feel 10 times better, and now I feel ready to meet somebody, and I was just wondering what you guys can look into that this summer, or when might that happen?
I'm sorry. Could you say that again? What was your question?
Oh, so I released a lot, and when I was in Florida, I went on vacation. I just came back 2 weeks ago, and so I really am looking for a deep connection relationship-wise. So I was just wondering about that, if you guys see something
All right. Sure. All right.
coming
Go ahead,
in.
Greta. Hello.
Hello?
Okay. So it seems like we're having some technical
No, I'm
difficulties.
here.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
here. Sorry.
All right. Great. Go ahead.
Um,
Hey,
tell me
Greta.
about without gi- hi, without giving me details. Let me know what exactly in the happenings of this trip that you just took, in a way that because someone you saw was very interested. So I just want to state that you met an individual in a way that would have been a good partner for the interim. So now I heard you say you want to know when the real person's coming.
Yeah.
That person is, yeah. And so that person, well, let me rephrase that. You will have many opportunities for that right person that is coming in different forms, in different bodies. However, when I see one individual stepping up and you don't like think, well, that's not doable. I can't go there. You have opportunity coming like right around the corner. However, I don't see that guy until like May of next year. So if you're like steadfast, you're not going to budge until that guy comes around the corner, then you're sitting for a bit. But what I'm saying is you're going to have multiple opportunities to get out and get social. You have multiple opportunities to build friendships, even though they may start as intimate buddies. They can end up being great friendships down the road. And in that way, you need to build that circle first before your bosom buddy comes on board and takes you away from all the extracurricular activity. What I'm hearing is there's a point for you to get out there into the world and seek people that are of variety and are not what you're used to, and give you more experience, more rounded, more well-rounded viewpoints of people and what they can provide, what they hold for you in the learning experience. So you've got people coming, and it's going to be a matter of whether you want to engage and be open-minded about what you're learning from those situations, or what your takeaways are from those situations, and then you're looking at more of the permanent guy after the first of the year.
After the first of the year, okay. Yeah. I just am ready. Like I really released. It was like me in the ocean, and it was amazing just to be with me and just let it all go, let it all out. And I feel like a brand new person. I really do. Yeah. So I'm looking for somebody who's open-minded, open space, a great listener, who really understands life. And they understand life because they experience life. Yeah.
Right, and you shouldn't
Yeah.
settle. You shouldn't settle. But in the meantime, you're
Exactly.
going to right?
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, you're going to meet those folks that, maybe they're great in every intents and purpose except one. And that one is you, if you were to, 95% of them is 100% what I want, but that 5%, well, okay, I guess it's doable. Maybe if I just, I don't know, look the other way or put a bag over my head at night or something. You know what I mean? Don't settle. Don't do that. Put them in the friend zone,
Yeah.
because in a way, a lot of these people that you're going to meet coming up, they are capable of handling the friend zone in a very appropriate manner. And even though you may have
That's
been in it
awesome.
at one time or got real close to it, they're not going to hold grudges. They're not going to, want to take their emotions and go away. They're the kind of people that you want to have in a friendship zone in your inner circle. And that's you're
Awesome.
kind of lacking that. Also, in a male way, you because it was safer to keep women in the friend zone, it just wasn't really a thought or an opportunity for you to build that large male social circle. And I think that's what the next few months are going to be about for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm excited because I've had some very toxic. It's funny because just a little thing is that I've said this before. I'm visually impaired, which means it leads to blindness and so on and so forth. And what happens is that I have a need. I'm not needy, and what people around me tend to do is they just over overtake. They take the control, and I'm just like, look, I'm setting my boundaries. I need to be me, and I can't be me if you're just constantly taking over. So it's refreshing if
Yeah.
you're just basically saying that they could handle me. That's important because a lot of people couldn't in my past, females and males. They just couldn't handle
Right.
me. It was,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, great. I'm excited.
You've got to remember who you are. Even though you're not alpha female, you're very outspoken. Not in outspoken like I'll get right up in your face and tell what you don't want to know. I mean, like you're quick to say, "Oh, it's all right," when others are falling down and not showing support, or you're quick to lend a hand when they've fallen down to help them back up. You
Yeah.
step up immediately. You don't
Yeah.
shrink back from that type of overture as far as doing what you can, and you need somebody that will appreciate that, not suppress you, not control you, not manipulate you, to use that energy that you can wield for them in their sole exclusive, let's just
Yeah.
say narcissistic purposes. You know what I mean? So, and that's maybe you have more you can share with her.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm taking a look at your chart
Thank you.
to break this down a
Yeah.
little bit further to see what's going on here about your relationships. So I made a few points, and I know you're low vision here. Hopefully, you can make this out on the screen if you're watching our YouTube cast. I'm looking at two
Okay.
midpoints, and the midpoint of those midpoints, which is Moon Venus to fall in love and Node Ascendant to initiate a relationship. When we look at the energies in between both of those separate inquiries, they're basically the same question as of right now in time. And if as we
Okay.
keep moving this on, it seems I want to say that maybe a month or two ago, you sort of had this window of opportunity that presented itself. And to be clear, that window of opportunity refers to this thought of, hey, I really want to be with somebody. Like, this is something that was new for you. Like, this was not an urge that you had, let's say, a year ago today. But it may have been a thought at the time, but now, like, this has become a real and serious want for you. And that window of opportunity just kind of presented itself. And there is somebody that is going to be coming into your field. I think that this is going to be a long-term commitment. And if we're going to be really honest about the type of partner that you're looking for, that like one of the top 5 qualities that you would want is he is proactive and he is kind. Like these are two things that are pretty much non-negotiable for you when it comes to relationships. Like,
Exactly.
like you will not be with somebody who's boring. Like that's just not going to happen. Like people who do the 9 to 5 lifestyle and then come home and watch
Yeah.
TV and then like fall asleep with their wife on top of them kind of thing for 30 years until they die. Like that's not you, and that's not what you came here to sign up for. So
No.
what I will say though is something that's very powerful for you right now is the power of attraction. So any thoughts that
Okay.
you're having about, like this is my ideal partner, this is what their qualities are like, or I'd really like to be able to do these things together with them. Think about those things and just kind of send those thoughts out into the ethers. This partner is going to be somebody who really sort of surprises you with time because there's a lot of changes that are going to go unnoticed. And what that refers to is these thoughts are like these things that I would really like this person to be. I'm going to create them in my mind, and then when I actually meet this person, which will be coming up here pretty soon, I agree by the first of the year, as Veretta had stated that um, you're just going to be so shocked by how this person has all of these qualities that you really love and adore, and it's because you created them in your mind. So
Yeah.
whatever it is that you want from this person, think about it, set your intent, and then when you actually meet them, you're going to say, wow, so I made you. Because you're in that phase of the relationship process that you made this person. Like, I mean, let's be clear, everybody has their own baggage when it comes to relationships, but in your
Sure.
particular relationship, like the key partnership that really makes you happy, that you settle down with, um that's the one area in your life that's actually somewhat normal and decent. Like this person doesn't carry all of the baggage and BS and drama that you normally find with, let's say, healthcare, or finding a job, or transportation, or whatever other area in your life that you struggle with on a general basis. Like your relationship
Sure.
issues, those are actually pretty pleasant and decent. And that's like the one part of your life that you did win the cosmic lottery for, was that you at least got a relationship that's not distressing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you got to be it, and in order to manifest, you have to be that love that you're looking for. At least that's how it works. Like if you're toxic, then you're gonna just attract toxicity. So definitely manifesting exactly who. It's just a reflection of me. I mean, it's not about liking the same color or whatever for that matter. It's more like qualities. Do you value yourself? Do you respect yourself? Are you loyal to yourself? Because if you're loyal to yourself and respect yourself, of course you respect other people because you do that for yourself. So yeah, absolutely. Qualities are very, very important to me, and I'm going to keep on continuing. And I like what Veretta said. I'm definitely not settling. I'll know. I'll know right away if a person is even on my wavelength the first 5 minutes I talk to them. That's for sure.
Well, and I think
That's
that
for
this
sure.
person is also going to be quite spiritual in nature. And that's like,
Okay.
another top 5 quality for you is that, that they're at least open minded, about these types of matters. Like they may not necessarily know a lot about it, but, like you have a
Yes,
lot to teach them, and, that they're open to it. So that's going to be another,
absolutely.
a way that, is that, this person is somebody that you can talk to about these matters. And, I think you will know and know you're not going to settle. But, like as far as a homework exercise goes for right now, I would be writing down all of the major key qualities of what your partner is like, and then write that down. And when you actually meet this
Okay.
person, wait 6 months and say, "Hey, you know what? When before I even knew you, when you were still just a thought in my life, I started this list, about what I wanted you to be like, and I want to read it to you now." And then that's something that you can do together. And then they're just kind of surprised, like, "Wow, I really am all those things.
Yeah,
How did you know me?"
that's so funny. I just have a one quick thing. Ernie, astrology wise, the window of opportunity is starting from now until the first of the year, or can you be a little bit more specific with the window of opportunity,
Well, yeah,
astrology wise?
yeah. So the relationship piece of it, like I want to say, if we're looking at this at 6209, if we go about like there ish, yeah, we'll say there, um, and that's at 64. So it's gonna be about, I want to say, like from now to the next 2 years at a high end, like at a very distant range.
Okay.
That it's like it'll be between now and then, but like the awakening within you as a person, that happened like within the past like 60 days, where you just woke up and said, "Wow, I really want to be with somebody now. I never used to want to do that, but I think that's okay."
Yes. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
So
Wonderful.
we're in the creation process, and anything that you do, it's going to have a profound effect on the co-creation of your partner when they actually come out to meet you in person.
Oh, this is exciting. I love my homework, so I'm going to be working on it. It shouldn't take long at all. Yeah. I just love writing anyway, so I'll definitely be making my list,
Well, it was
checking it twice.
for sure
Yeah.
always, it's always great to have a rap sheet, for these types of things. They really do go a long way. And it's always a fun activity in the future when you can read this over with somebody and say, hey, back when you were just a thought, I wrote this about you.
It's really cool. Thank you so much, both of you. I appreciate your insight. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Be sure to go out to my website, eastrologer.net, and leave us a review. That does get you into the raffle for the Spirit Circle ticket.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Until next time, take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, all right. So we are going to get to our next caller here. This is going to be Sonia from area code 650. Hi, Sonia. Are you on the line with us?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Yeah, so actually, I was just interested in an astrology reading. That's okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Let's see here. And did you have a specific question about an issue, or do you just want a general reading?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of questions. One is, I know that the North Node is going to be conjuncting Uranus next month, like towards the end of July.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering what you see around that. And my second question is, like, do you see a move anytime coming up, like the next 6 months or so?
Okay, all right. Let's start with the node conjunct Uranus. So that's like a language that Western astrologers use, and we don't really buy into that here in Uranian
Oh,
astrology.
you don't use that?
Yeah. So like
Okay.
what I can tell
Well,
you, it's going to trigger something in your life, and that's going to have to do with some changes that you weren't expecting. And here's why: because when this node begins to move towards this Uranus and they become closer to each other, that's going to have a profound effect, because this Uranus is close to this arrow here, which is on the cardinal axis. So that's the world axis. This is the world chart, everything that's happening out in the world. So if you have node Uranus happening at about 45 degrees or 15 degrees of a fixed sign, then that's literally every single person on the planet is going to be affected by change. Now, you, Sonia, in particular, will be affected by it a little bit more, because you've got a natal node that's here on this dial at about the 67.5 degree position. So that just means that that these energies are the same. So this means you have node, and then we look for a third node to see where this is going to be in triplicity, and by direction it's over here. So you will probably be affected personally, and I say that because you have ascendant meridian, which are
yeah, and what area of life can you? Because I'm not looking. I'm not on YouTube.
Oh, sure. All right. No worries. So let me look at this. So if we're taking a look at what's happening in your chart with this, with relation to these two nodes here, then your meridian, so your soul, you're going to be affected by this personally. And at the moment that we're asking this question, at this exact moment in time, your meridian, your soul is also being affected by it. I think that's funny that when people call the show that we can, I can run a chart and say, so in this minute when you called us right now, this is really why you're here. And we're taking a look at this having to do with, let me take a look. I'm going to have Veretta jump in about the move question, and then I'm going to look at your moving stuff here also.
Okay.
Okay. Now I did hear you say that you were interested in the astrology, so hopefully it'll just correspond with what Ernesto is about to say. When you asked about the move, the undercurrent was very subtle, and it may take an explosion to make that happen. And so what I would say is it will remain status quo unless something takes place in a way that gets the mm, inspiration, motivation, need going. And regardless of what you're feeling, maybe you're like, oh, I'm ready to go. I could have been packed and out of here yesterday. It isn't going to happen like that. So it may be that the Uranus conjunction is going to be the catalyst that will help, you find that right place, or the circumstances, if you will, the line all up and everything is magic that, happens to make it easy. Other than that, I don't see the move happening, not right away, and not unless some kind of major thing happens. Now, it's not to say you won't eventually move. It's just not going to happen right away. I'm really not even looking at, in the feel of this, I'm not even looking at this year, or even before fall, before things start to maybe look appealing or put itself in a place in a way that you're comfortable in making a move, or you know that it's going to happen one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Do we give you enough time or enough, though?
Yeah. So I agree. I feel like that. Now let me ask you just a couple of probing questions. Now, Sonia, what in your mind, in your life, it makes you think that you might move?
Where I am currently, it's a little different than what I expected. I'm in an apartment now, and I had moved from a larger home, and I actually kind of miss the larger home and the space. And plus, the sense of community isn't quite what I thought it would be here. So I think for those two reasons,
Do you feel
having
that
more space.
Do you feel that your living situation, though, the way it is, it may not be those types of preferences, as far as the community goes, but as far as just very simply having a roof over your head, is that issue in your life stable?
Yes.
Okay, so there's like no risk that, that you're going to get kicked out, or you're going to lose your job, or, any of that kind of stuff.
No.
Yeah, because,
I don't see that happening.
Because what I'm picking up for you, Sonia, when it comes to, a move, is that if you moved, it would be an enormous undertaking. And I don't even really know if it's that necessary, because like, I think that the location that you're in right now, the way your chart looks, is actually extremely stable. So it would be somewhat unwise to sort of uproot that. So I know it doesn't meet some of those other types of requirements, like the sense of community and all of that, but like this location, you're gonna be there for a while. It's gonna stay there, and it's always gonna
really?
be. Oh,
What
yeah.
makes you say that? Oh my God! What makes you say that? I was hoping like maybe I'd stay another 6 months to a year, and maybe then something else.
You may relocate within the same vicinity, like some other community, but the actual township or area, or part of the country that you're in, you're going to stay relatively close to that, because you've got, like, we asked the question Jupiter Saturn, which has to deal with real estate. So that's a common access point we'll use when we're asking questions. And then we see that you have a triple admetos in this. So you have admetos, which takes nearly 600 years to orbit the sun. That's showing up in a triple pattern. So if we look at the rule book to see what that's speaking to specifically, when we add admetos to it, then that is, let's see here, a happy separation of many or for many. So yeah, that means that you could move, but using the other end of what that planet represents, that also just means the stability. So if you left, it would be totally on you, and I think it would take a lot of work. So you're going to have to sort of evaluate: is it really worth all of my efforts to make this happen? If you do move, it will be within the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months, as you stated, that will be the time frame to do it. But if you don't, like there's really sort of no downside about not moving because, like at least your housing issues will be stable and taken care of. And I think that that would be a major goal for most people on the planet with the way prices are going these days. So I think that, you either just want to stay where you are or you want to move, but the move really is gonna come down to, um, is this worth my time and energy? Because it's gonna be somewhat exhausting. Like you're gonna find a lot of obstacles along the way. This is not gonna be easy. It's gonna create some distress on your part emotionally. I do think you will make it through, but it's not gonna be kittens and rainbows to begin
Yeah.
with.
Every move is challenging. I've done it quite a few times. And yeah, but if I were to move, I'm currently in New York, and I would move to probably like Long Island or something, just because there's more a sense of community there. Like, so it wouldn't be like
Yeah, so
to the West
it's
Coast or
nothing
something.
huge, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
and then in that sense, then that would be okay. Like if you just wanted to move in the same area,
Yeah.
but to like go to like
Yeah.
California, that would be insanity. That would just be
No.
like, why
No.
don't you
No.
just dig my
I
grave
wouldn't even.
now?
Yeah. No. No. I actually already did that kind of West Coast, East Coast move, and I'm not considering that. It would be more like a local move, so I
Yeah.
don't think it would be hugely challenging. It's just a regular move, and yeah.
And this is an aside
So.
from your chart, but I just got this really striking image of flowers. So whenever you're looking for things,
Mhm.
use that as sort of like a
Mhm.
um, as something that you want to keep in mind as like a guidepost, so you can find out. Well, these are the kinds of
Mhm.
places that I want to live.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I know exactly what I would want in a home. 'Cause right now I'm in an apartment, and I thought I would love it, but um, I'm finding it. Um, I don't know. I got used to the space that I had prior living in a home, and I didn't realize how much of an adjustment it would be. Um, and and friends. I don't have that sense of community currently where I am. So it's just emotionally not fulfilling, but
And that
there is
may also
stability.
speak to that node Uranus thing you were mentioning at the beginning of the call. When you look at sort of at how that
Mm-hmm.
would potentially affect you, that would I think have to do with removing the ugliness in your life. That like that you feel alone and cut off, and that people are just unpleasant to you. That sense of things that's one thing that you're really going to work hard to change that. And I think that's sort of like the thing that we're really getting into here is you moving into a different community that's going to remove you from these other people or this environment that you're just not liking or connecting with right now. So I think that's the sudden like change that you're sort of looking for, the sudden change of connections. So that'll be coming up in I think you said July. So I mean, it's just going to trigger
Yes,
that
the end of
conversation
July.
of your chart where
Mm-hmm.
you Sona, you decide,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the steps that I need to get myself into this other community because I'm really sick of being here and these people are bitches and I don't like them. So that you're
It's
just
not even. It's not even. Yeah, it's not even a matter of having a community that I could even call, bad. Like there is really no one. It's not that people are nasty to me. I just don't have those relationships.
okay. So it's like you're almost
Uh,
just sort of invisible or hidden then.
yeah, yeah. It's just really no one that I can actually connect with, um, and I, which makes me think like, why did we move here? But I know why. I know why I moved. It's just I don't particularly like driving, and I felt like the city life would be good, but then there are other repercussions, which I mentioned, not having a sense of community and the lack of space, and so yeah. So that's why I was wondering what you saw in terms of. I know you don't in your language and in your type of astrology, there is no North Node conjunct Uranus, but if you saw anything, like I said, in terms of where I would see these changes, like in what what area of my life.
Yeah, you just
That
want
would.
to be known. You just want to be seen. That's gonna be the thing, for you. And like where you're at right now when it comes
Mhm.
to living, that's not really resolving those issues. So you're gonna you're gonna take the steps to make that happen. My only advice is take a deep breath. You're probably gonna get very angry throughout a lot of this, just because everything is gonna present so many different obstacles. And cussing is not your friend right now. That's not the type of energy you want to create. So meditation circles, if you do any
Mhm.
gong work,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff you want to do to relax
Yeah.
yourself.
Why do you see these obstacles? Why do you make it sound like it's going to be really, I don't know, just upsetting where I need to meditate?
Well, the moving process in general. And then you also have,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that Uranus by transit is also going to contact your natal Hades along with your directed Mercury. So Hades Mercury is, bad words, very simply, ugly conversations, and then, the Uranus
Mm.
piece is going to bring that this is a trend because it's a slow moving planet. It's going to bring this trend of that,
Mhm.
you're going to have these ugly conversations or bad words that's going to be a thing on the regular that just kind of it pops its ugly head because that's the language of the planets. So, don't, this too shall pass. It'll all go away.
Okay. I don't know what to make of that reading. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it was
I'll
great to
have
have
to
you
let
on the
it
show,
sink in.
Sonia. Be sure to go out to my website and leave us a review. That does get you into the Spirit Circle raffle for the drawing on the 22nd.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you both.
Anytime,
Take
Sonia.
care.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Okay,
You
all right. And we are going to get off to area code 477. I believe that this is a Skype call-in from what I can tell. Hello, are you there with me?
খারাপ অবস্থা হয় তখনও মানুষ if they find meaning in
Hello?
Uh-oh. Doesn't
Hello?
sound like we've got a good connection now.
No. Okay, so we just lost our caller. Not really too sure what happened there. I think that was Deep over in India that was giving us a call if I had to guess, but we'll find out in a moment here. So, I just wanted to let's just give it a moment to see if they call back. I just want to show you something here that's really kind of nice about Uranian astrology. Something that's somewhat unique about what we do versus other types of astrology. This is my chart, as you can tell. I'm sure you've seen this a million times. These four arrows, you have this one red arrow and then three smaller white arrows. These all mean the same thing. And then I'll do you one better, and let me just draw this. So you have these lines, which are going to show up in between those arrows. And these are just sort of like tick marks that we use to sort of count. The actual tick marks are on the inside of the dial, and these are like half-degree marks that we use to count. But these black lines that I just drew on the screen here, these are 11 1/4 degrees apart from each other from the arrows. So these are going to show 45-degree aspects in astrology. So this is something that we can use to count things down pretty fast to see what's being aspected or being fired off in a chart at any given time. So in this case, whenever you have stuff on the arrow, so like this meridian here, um, this is the same distance as this Aries point, as this Mars, and as this Apollon by directions. So meridian, which is the soul or the eye, when we only do look at this one single factor out of 23 different factors on the chart, um, we're just looking at the point of inquiry for my soul. So we want to ask, kind of what's happening with that right now. Now you can obviously break down the midpoints and all of that too, but the point of this demonstration is just to show you very quickly how we can pare down information based on what we're seeing in a chart. So if the red arrow's on meridian, then we also have this Apollon down here. Oh, I'm sorry, that thickness is not great. No, I don't want to do that either. There we go. Okay, so we got this Apollon here. We have this Kronos. We have this Mars. And then what we can do is we can take this arrow and since we know that this Apollon is 11 1/4 degrees from this arrow over here, then we know that those are the same distance. So then we want to look at, well, what happens if we look at the midpoint of both of those? Since that's sort of what a lot of what Uranian astrology concerns itself with is the half distances in between different objects in the sky. So if we look at that, see on this dot, and I'm using the dot sort of as a guiding line to determine where we're going to move this. So let me mark this here. We have this dot is the same distance as that dot, and those Apollons are the same in relation to this arrow. Now, we want things that are in 3 because that's going to have more of an effect on us down here on this planet. But when we have this Pluto showing up as a third factor in relation to those other 2, then we know that this is really about a change that, me as an astrologer, which is Apollon, that planet, about commerce, about science, that I am going through some changes with it. And this is something that we can do very quickly just to kind of piece together a reading for somebody. And this is a conversation that we can have. So this Pluto, this means that, I am going through changes through my astrology right now. And we definitely are, because the show is the best it's ever been in like the 3 years that I've had this account. Like I actually have a good ass co-host. I don't know what I was thinking before, trying to, number one, do it by myself, and then have somebody else who was a narcissist, and that was just kind of fell apart. So, we have some great things happening here on the show, and this is because, me with astrology, this is something that is always changing on the regular. So it's a big conversation, that I have in my personal life on a daily basis. Is let's always keep this going, whether if that's website building or making you guys forums, or if that's doing new premium pay-per-view content. I'm always doing something just to keep the astrology hustle going, because that's just what I do. Confucius used to say that it doesn't matter how often you do something, just so long as that you continue to do it. I really believe in that. Like I am a snail at a snail's pace some days, because, like I have to bow down to the fact that I have crushing headaches, and that there are times during the day where I can't do a whole lot. So, like I have about 5 different irons in the fire at any given time. And so it's sort of like a rat race. Some days I'm able to do some things, some days I do others. It all just sort of varies. I never do everything on the same day, though. That just doesn't happen, period. That's not possible. And I'm a realist about these things. I'm not like one of these workaholic types that it's a very black and white, all or nothing proposition. I do what I can. And that's more than what most people can say. So, these are all things that I'm slowly starting to work out when it comes to astrology. Is, if this is going to become a full-time position for me, oh my God, that's terrifying to think, like full-time position, anything. How is this going to work for me? What are the parameters? What are the boundaries that I need to set for myself? So, those are changes that I am making, on a frequent basis. These are things that, we can kind of piece together based on what's happening in a chart, and we can see these things because of the arrow and these other sorts of dots here on the chart that allow us to measure distance. Now, something else that's nice about Uranian astrology is that we don't have the notion of parallax. So parallax is the concept if you put like your finger in front of your nose and you just continue and you move your finger down a straight line in relation to your nose, that the position of your finger will change based on where your eyes are pointed. So that's the concept of parallax. So like if I am in Alaska, if I'm in Juneau, Alaska, then I will have a different, I will see different stars than if I was in Mesa, Arizona, or if I was in Sydney, Australia. So, like one of the things that I love about this astrology is that we totally neuter the parallax question. We don't even care about your location, because location of birth, that's a formula, that's a fixed number, that's a calculation, that does not emanate energy, as a lot of Western astrologers like to say. So what we're looking at here in a 90-degree dial on your chart in Uranian astrology is we just take the 360-degree circle, we divide that by a factor of 4, and then we measure the distances out in the sky. So what we're looking at is a representation of the planets out in space, as they would be arranged. And when we move this pointer, we can actually just notice the half distances between them. And even though these planets are, like millions of miles away from us, and we can't even possibly comprehend them, we are still able to make sense of the language of the planets, because remember that astrology is a language and it's a science. So it does align itself with the hard sciences, and we're able to see things in much more detail than what you can see in any other type of astrology, because we don't concern ourselves with how many astrologers does it take to screw in a light bulb, or pick the house system that you like the best. That's just not who we are or what we do over here. So let me take a look here. So we have a Sheil on the line, giving us a call back. Just want to say hi to you over there listening. We are going to be closing down the show here. It looks like that we have cleared out the queue. If you'd like to chat with us for a minute, get like a blessing for the day or something, just put your hand up and let us know. If not, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of close the show down with a few last announcements here. Our Wednesday show on the 22nd is going to be a little bit earlier, because that's going to be our spirit circle. We're going to be offering that from 7:30 to 9:30. So that means that our Wednesday program will be from 6 to 7 p.m. Mountain Time or Arizona time, depending on your region. So we're going to do that show from 6 to 7 for an hour, take a half-hour break for any walk-in registrations, and then we're going to go off to our spirit circle at 7:30 for a 2-hour block. We will be doing the drawing on our program for everybody who put in for the raffle. That will be on our next program. Again, that's going to be the 22nd at 6 p.m. It has been great to be on the program with you guys this morning. It was always a pleasure. And Veretta, thank you so much for joining me. We will be back with you guys on the 22nd at 6 p.m. for an hour, and then we'll be doing our spirit circle then. Let me take a look. We just had something else happen. So we do have a call that just came in right as I was about to close out the show. So great job. We're going to get off to a caller from area code 305. Hi, you're on the Uranus Happens Show. May I have your name and date of birth?
I'm Diana. How are you? I don't know your name.
I am doing great. I am Ernesto.
Ernesto. Mucho gusto. I'm Diana. I was born November 8th, 1949.
November 8th?
Yes.
1949. Okay.
1949.
And what time were you born?
2:10 in the a.m.
Okay. And where were you born?
Buenos Aires.
Okay. All right. Got it.
I just tuned in and I heard you were going to go off the air after I saw you were going to be on for an hour, so I quickly called you.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad that you did. Great timing, by the way, to catch us here like that. Now, do you have a specific question, or do you just want a general reading today?
General would be better.
Okay, great. All right, I got it. Veretta?
All right. And you said your name was Deanna. Is that correct?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. All right. As I open up to you, Deanna, what I get immediately is you have people in spirit wanting to step up to say hello. And I feel I've got a couple people, and they come in to me on your right, which means it's male energy, and it feels to me like they just want you to know that they're there and they are looking at you or aware of either you're missing them or thinking about them. So they're telling you hello. They're giving you a heads up that they're there. They're listening. They're watching. They're aware. I also want to say that you have a little bit of struggle going on that's alive, that's here, and that struggle, even after it comes to a small head, is going to get better. And I feel like that has to do with children or people under you that would be younger. And so what I feel like is that although right now it may feel like they're distant or they're not liking you or they're not going to let you into their life, that's going to change here in a while. And it looks to me like it's inevitable that you'll have a better understanding or relationship or experience with them. Now, and it doesn't
Thank
mean
you.
you have to do anything to make that happen. It doesn't mean you need to call on them and, or knock on their doors and wait for or hope that you don't miss that opportunity for it to get better. What that means is just be patient and wait. And when they are cued, when they know the time is right, or when something happens within them, their heart opens up, they will definitely expand that to you. And you'll know that they're feeling a little bit better about themselves or whatever it is that, maybe made it difficult for you in the long run. So
Thank you.
there doesn't seem to be anything that I feel is going to be happening in a negative manner. And if you had a little bit of anxiety built up about something that you didn't know that's coming at you in the future, don't worry about it. It'll solve itself, or it will pass over enough that it won't be something that you're in complete despair and anxiety and wondering why it took place. So don't worry about it. Whatever it is, it'll be over, and it'll be over soon enough that it will be behind you and you won't need to worry about it anymore.
Thank you very
Ernesto,
much.
can you do a little bit of something?
Yeah, so Deanna, couple questions. Do you have a heart issue?
Not exactly a heart issue, but close to the heart.
Okay, and would you say that you one of the things that you've really had to work hard with in your life is learning not to be angry all the time?
Learning to set boundaries and not, you know, when I am confronted, to learn how to handle it better.
Okay, yeah, because I get the sense that, like you have some, the anger that you harbored in your life for many years, more than likely as a result of like a relationship that wasn't really all that great. Like that this is something that you have really had to work hard with to resolve those particular matters in your life, and it took a toll on your physical health to where you had not a disease, but like a condition that created itself because of all of these pent up energies that you didn't release for so many years. And so I feel like that you're at a point in life now to where you whatever it was that you were supposed to learn from these unhealthy relationships, you've gone through that, and that now you're being called to take that information and take those lessons, and apply that information in a way that you weren't real that's a little bit different for you, because now you're being forced to use this information with your family, and I think to have conversations with them about like, hey, this is who I used to be, this is where I came from, and it wasn't great, it wasn't easy, this is what it looked like, but I took ABC steps in order to make my life better so that we could all get along today. And I think that I'm starting to see a lot of the same things in you, but I just want you to have this information, so when I'm not here anymore, then at least you can say that, oh well, I know that this is something that runs in our family, and that I can work on this, and it doesn't have to be like this all the time. So I feel like that you're at a point in life where you can be a teacher to your family, to show them and say, hey, you know what, I've done all of these amazing things and it wasn't easy, but I want to share this knowledge with you because I think that we can all benefit from it, and that'll have a profound impact on what's happening um, with your home life right now. And I think that there's a lot of hostility and especially lack of clarity when it comes to the people in your home environment, and that can lead to a lot of aggression and anger and upset. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's just because very simply, the people in your environment aren't the most emotionally intelligent beings, and they would really benefit from a quick little crash course on this is how we handle basic human interaction or basic human emotion, however you want to package that. Like, this is something that these are lessons that they really need to have right now.
Thank you. Now, you said that the name was Loretta, but that's not your name. That's the lady's name, right?
Yeah, no, my name is Ernesto.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
My name is Ernesto.
Both of you said Ernesto, right? Okay, I did
Yeah,
get it the
that's me.
first time then. How does the Uranian astrology reflect on my chart
Well, I mean, we're
as
looking at your
far
chart.
as a major? Uh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead and finish.
In regards to this huge question with just two words, what now?
What now? Okay.
Right, as far as staying, going, in every sense of the word, not just physical, but health-wise, financially. Is there anything that what they say jumps up or jumps out to you to say what now in my chart?
Well, I mean, for me, the big thing was like, like I would definitely get a checkup with the doctor. Like there's, that heart thing that we were talking about at the beginning of the call. I think that that's something that may need to be investigated a little bit more. But I think if it's not a physical issue, then it just means that you have to have these conversations with your loved ones about, emotional intelligence. If that's something that they're ready to hear about. But getting to the doctor to have those things checked. Do you have sleep apnea?
No, I have what we believe is cancer, and it's located above the heart, below the neck, above the breast, and it's momentous. And I don't know what submitting myself to an operation might mean. I think it might mean departure quickly or being left without independence. And it's a
Yeah,
major
you
question.
would be damaged very heavily if you did something like a surgery. That would be something that that's a conversation you'd have to have with your doctor. But there's a lot of red flags when it comes to doing something like a cancer related surgery for you.
That's what I thought. And because it is right above the heart, and then taking the risk and with nothing leaving a place where I've lived for what to many people is a lifetime. So
Yeah,
I'm at a crucial point.
mm-hmm. Yeah, Veretta, do you have any other insights while I take a look into that?
Yeah, what I'm getting is that for right now, there's a lot of status quo. Keep moving forward with finding someone that will support what you have to have. And if you're feeling like you don't want surgery, then don't get it. I'm not 100% on the cancer um, diagnosis. I do get that you have issues that need to be addressed, but I also get that when it comes up as a necessity is when it that you'll need surgery, you'll need a procedure that you'll have to have a little support for a little while, but it's not going to change the quality of life or impede you from living independently. I feel like you're still going to need help to some degree, but most definitely it could just be temporarily. I don't feel like it's appropriate to ignore this situation. I do feel like it's something that you do need to have a valid diagnosis or a firm standing or understanding of what you're dealing with. So I feel like you should keep looking for um, medical support, people that can help you, but people that can also determine what is right for you. I do get that eventually you are going to need a procedure, whether it's, like an open chest procedure to remove whatever this mass is. I don't know. But I feel like living independently is not something that's going to change right away for you, but you will need help. And again, whether that's due to what the aftercare procedure would be during, the process, I don't know. But for you right now, to look at your body and to understand that there is a process of healing that you can facilitate by allowing that to happen. Open up to the healing energy. Find support from your direct source of God or whatever you have the connection to. Because honestly, this time frame for you is about evaluating whether you want to continue to live, period, not just independently.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Right. So the first question you have to ask yourself, Deanna, is do you want to live? Do you want to live more? Do you want to have more? Do you want to, participate in the time frame that you would have left? And if the answer is yes, then stand up, stand your ground, and say, okay, no, I'm not doing the surgery. I'm not sure it's cancer. I'm not sure you know what you're doing, and therefore I'm not going to commit to anything that I don't feel okay with, period. And you have the ability to do that.
I will see the doctor to see what the results were of the many modern technological testing that we did a couple of weeks ago. But I'm afraid sometimes when people tell you something that one tends to accept it as the word of God, as if there were no other solution.
No other choice.
Yeah.
So stand your ground. And when you stand your ground, Deanna, you know that you're going to get support from God. If you say out loud, yes, I want to live, and I want to live comfortably, and I want to live independently, 120 people can stand up in front of you. Oh, no, you're dying. You're going to die. You've got cancer or something that looks like it. And if we don't do X, Y, Z right away, you're going to end your life. And everything inside of you is screaming, no, that's not right. Then they can say all they want to, but the bottom line is it's your choice. And you can say no, or you can say wait, or I want a 4th and 5th and 110th a decision and an opportunity to know exactly what I'm dealing with, instead of, well, we don't know for sure, so we're going to do this just to see. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to know sure before you touch me with a scalpel, and before we know that's even something that I have to go through.
Do you have a little more time for me?
I don't know whether we do or not. Ernesto is the one that runs the back end of that, but we are having a spirit circle on Wednesday, and I would say you'll have a lot more opportunity. It'll be a little bit more of a one-on-one setting, and you'll have a lot more opportunity for me to take a more in-depth look at you to see what's going on medically. I also feel like right now, take what they're going to tell you off of the table. Hear me say this. You have to decide whether you want to live. And you have to decide whether you want to live independently. And if the answer to those questions are yes, then you need to fight like hell for your health and tell people that, you may not be the doctor, but you know your body. You may not have their education, but you have insight. And stand your ground until someone comes along and says, well, okay, what do you want to do? Well, I want to find a second opinion, a 4th opinion, a 110th opinion that's going to tell me what else we can do besides just try to go in there and poke around or cut it out, because I don't believe that's the right answer. And at some point, they will direct you, or what they'll do literally is throw their hands up and say, well, fine, if you don't want to listen to me, then there's no more I can do. And you're going to quietly inside your head or under your breath scream, hey, now you're getting what I wanted, and walk out and tell you, okay, go do. And that may happen a few times where someone will throw their hands up and say, okay, well, if you don't want to listen to my expert opinion, then, okay, get out of my office. And you're going to leave. And you're going to leave with the opinion knowing that, okay, the next one might be right. Keep going. Keep going until you find that someone that's going to listen to you. say, I want to live, but I want this done right. And if you can't help me do that,
I do
okay, God
understand.
bless you and good luck. I'm moving on.
I do understand that because I've seen two
Yeah.
people, one last August, one last May, and I had the test done. And I do understand the standpoint. That is their training. That is what they have. That's the knowledge they have, and they don't consider any other knowledge. I'm looking for something more integrated. However, over the past 14 years, which is when it started, 2 days from now will be 14 years. What I've gone through is what provoked this state, this condition, because of all the what I've missed have said, not quite anger, but resentment and feeling that I was treated unfairly. And at
Yeah.
this point in time, I'm without funding, staying at hotels for like 10 months already, and feeling completely chained or, restricted because 14 years ago what happened is what caused me to lose everything, and it's been like a losing streak. So I understand what you said about wanting to live because from the first moment, that's what I felt. I wanted to die, but I
Yeah.
couldn't. I had obligations. And
Right.
then starting to feel unsupported by so many people, including family. So it isn't quite anger. It's like a feeling of a letdown, a disappointment. And I wish
Yes.
I could just throw it over my shoulders and put it in the past, but it's caused this mass, and this mass
Well,
sometimes
it's hard to
hurts.
put something in the past that keeps happening. It's hard to let go of something that's still right in front of your face and sometimes beating you over the head. It's hard to be able to say, okay, yes, this is happening and I really don't like it, but there's nothing I can do. I absolutely feel betrayed. So I have to figure out where is that energy, that emotion, that decision is coming from that I feel betrayed. Well, because a lot of people that I counted on, that I thought knew what they were talking about, and maybe they did, didn't do me any good, didn't do right by me. And so, therefore, eventually you come down to having to create your own solid foundation. No, maybe they didn't do you any good, but you can do you good. And in that way, you can let go of the betray. Yep, they screwed up. Well, maybe it wasn't at me personally, but it felt like it was. And here I am,
No, it was.
years, decades.
It was
So
it's the feeling of
when these
being
things happen,
dishonored.
you you have to look at the bigger picture. Even though if you're still in the forest looking square at one tree, you have to be able to back up out of that experience just a little bit, just get out of it just enough to be able to say, okay, yeah, this really sucks, and I see where I'm at. I see I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that really are not going to be able to help me. So I stand here, I look at the tree, and I wallow in the oh woe is me, or I continue to be proactive and get away from this tree because it's giving me nothing but splinters, and start looking around, watching again at what may come up that gives me a window of opportunity. And when you've been decades into a lifestyle where it's not been you that you've put as a priority, then we have to learn that about ourselves. We have to say, okay, I can't depend upon other people. I can't look at other people for support when I need it badly, because if they let me down, I'm in trouble. You have to learn to understand that there are times where everybody around you and even total strangers are going to walk away when you're down on the concrete, burning the crap out of your butt because it's hot. You're the only one that can stand up and say, okay, I'm done with that now. I'm not going to allow myself to be disappointed or betrayed or put in a position to feel down. And I know that people are limited. I know people are limited due to their experience, due to their education, due to their belief, and I can't allow their dysfunction and misnomers to suppress me. So I'm going to be down here for about a minute until my butt gets so hot that I have to get up, or I know I'm going to be blistered, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to start walking. and I'm going to start looking around at the people that aren't going to walk by me when I'm down there burning my butt off. I'm going to start looking for the people that are going to see me, who I am. And those are the people I'm going to let in. Those are the people that I'm going to trust. However, I'm going to know that those people are also limited. And there will be times where they can't see me because they're in over their head with something else that's going on. We forget that our medical professionals, our attorneys, our legal professionals, our people that are supposed to make change happen, they're just like us. They have bad hair days. And we never know from one minute to the next when we're sitting in the doctor's office and, you know, they're 20 minutes late seeing us, that maybe they had something that they had to deal with now is going to affect or change how they see us or how they deal with us appropriately. We have to understand that people that are in a profession, when they're going to help others or be in service to others, that their lives could change in the moment's notice. That may affect us. Well, then do we take a look at that and we say, woe is me, that happened badly, and I don't know why they targeted me or why that happened to me like that. We can, again, wallow in that pain and that self-pity, or we can say, well, that sucks. That really sucks, and I'm really not going to allow that to happen again. Or I'm going to, you know, do a little research in a way to find out if that person is somebody that I should count on. And if they're not, I'm walking off. I'm going away. I'm going to make sure that they're not in my circle to hurt me again. We have the bottom line control of how we are affected and who we allow into our energy. You, Deanna, have had a long life of helping others. I have had a long life of putting everything around you first and feeling like, okay, well, someday they may pay it back or they'll get it or they'll understand how that hurt me. No, they won't. They'll never see it. You could paint them a big picture, write them a book that's the size of a novel. They're not going to understand what they don't want to know. So when we hurt ourselves and we martyr ourselves at the expense of others, thinking someday, you know, maybe they'll get it or maybe they'll come back and say, we're sorry, that's wrong. That's a skewed way of thinking that our conditioning and patterning of years of not making ourselves our priority hurts us. And that habit's on us, not them. And them being is anybody that we allow to hurt us to that degree. Expectation is a biatch, I'll tell you. When we expect something from somebody and they let us down, we get butthurt. It's a normal human trait. But the reality of it is our expectation is what set us up. So when we're walking into an office of somebody that supposedly has an education, and they may have umpteen degrees on the wall going all the way up to a PhD and then some, they can still be wrong, period. And so we have to decide ultimately who is going to have the bottom line control over our lifetime and situation. It's us, not them, whomever that may be.
However, it is, I've always held the highest concept as the word honor. And I feel I'm honorable, but I've been so dishonored. And that is the cross I bear.
Yeah, I hear you, darling. You know what? You cannot make someone respect you, but you can put your foot down about being disrespected. And honor works in the same material. You be honorable because that's who you are. Don't be doing it because you feel that's what you should receive. I tell people, you know, when you're looking at getting a reward for doing something right, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You've got to do what's right because it's right, not because of what you receive. And you know, you're a very spiritual, very intact with source person. So when everything human and physical fails you, your end result is to go to source. And that should be your first resort. That should be where you go immediately. Anything that troubles you or pings you, throw it up to God. Okay, what do I do with this? And if the answer is, okay, wait and see, or throw it back, or catch it and carry that ball for a little while, then you do what's told because that's what's right. not what you're going to receive in the result or the long run of it. And you are an honorable person. Don't change that. Don't even waver from that philosophy.
Before I came
You
to
will
the
have.
United States, before I
It's
came
hard.
to the United States, one of the books I learned in English was, it was a play. It was The Importance of Being Earnest. Ernesto.
Perfect.
You probably did hear of it. It was a play that we studied in school, and it was the importance of being earnest, but earnest in the sense of what one is: honest, earnest, honorable. So I do appreciate what you said to me, and I'm going to listen to it again in the playback.
Okay, all right, great.
Thank you.
So, I just want to leave you with this, Diana, before you leave us today. When it comes to the healthcare issues, I do agree that that your healthcare providers, that that you really may want to think about getting a second or even a third opinion. Don't believe the people that the first thing that you hear coming out of somebody's mouth. I really get the sense that these people, there's a lot of ass clowns when it comes to medicine, and it doesn't have to be like that. So, that Dr. 1 may really want to do surgery, and that's going to mess you up pretty bad. But then Dr. 2 says, well, we can actually do this other thing, or you may even just want to wait until it really becomes a problem. So, that's where you have to ask yourself the question, do I want to be here right now? And then go from there. But I would say, if you're going to seek any medical care, really take everything for a grain of salt and allow yourself to, be discerning and say, that not everybody really wants to help me. And, that these providers I do like, and these other people, I'm not too sure about them. So it's okay, to not give everybody the benefit of the doubt, is where I'm going with this. So that would be my final advice to you as far as the healthcare is concerned. And you can always sign up for a Spirit Circle pass with us, and we can dig into this issue a little bit with a lot more depth and give you some of the answers that you're really looking for.
Is it on the program page?
Yeah, it's on my website, eastrologer.net. And there will be a link you can click on to sign up for the Spirit Circle over there.
Okay. Thank you very much for today, Ernesto and Vereda.
Yes.
Yes.
That to me also has a meaning. Symbolically, it's about VER as in truth. The Latin
VIR.
root of truth, Vereda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's VIR.
But I like VIRETTA.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to research that one. My big thing is language. So I'll look into that. But thank you.
Yeah, if you do find something that starts out as you as a meaning, I would love to know what that would be about my name. So please do call back and let us know.
Yeah, it was great to have you on the show. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, God bless.
Take care.
Bless.
Until next time. Okay, so I have the 6 tenets of Uranian astrology up here right now. We're going to go ahead and close down the show. Just a quick little PSA. A couple of weeks ago, I was doing some QA of one of our programs, and we had somebody that called in, and they said something like, I was waiting. I'm going to wait for you guys to tell me where I need to move, and it would just sort of raise some red flags like, okay, number 1, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And number 2, you're not in charge. So, that's the purpose of the show here. Uranus Happens. Nobody's in charge. We all serve a higher power. Like even Beretta and I have a corporate team that's so far above and beyond this planet that we have to pay attention to. So we do always take this feedback. But where I'm going with this is that, remember that truly nobody's in charge. We can have a general sense of where things are headed, but just keep doing your own thing and follow your intuition. Those instincts are never wrong. But when you try to take, the reins into your own hands, that's when things really start to get turned upside down, and they really don't need to be. So my PSA to everybody for this week is just enjoy your life and let it be what it needs to be. And remember, you're not in charge, because if you think you are, there is always a higher power. And as the age-old expression goes, man makes plans and God laughs.
For sure, for sure.
Well, Veretta, it was great to have you come out today and join us here on the show. We will be back with you guys on Wednesday, the 22nd. That'll be the drawing for our Spirit Circle. So this is your last chance to get into that raffle. And we will be doing that drawing on our Wednesday show at 6 p.m. Mountain or Arizona Standard Time, depending on your time zone. It was great to have you guys, and we will catch up with you soon. For all other things Uranian Astrology, be sure to check out eastrologer.net. And Veretta, you can check out at verettavision.com.
Have a good night, good day, good afternoon, and wherever you're at. And if you're a father, have a great Father's Day.
Yes, of course.
Just enjoy this.
Yes, and have a great Father's Day, everybody, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Until next time, take care and good night.
Thank you for using